right, hello. Let's see what I can get up to today. I had a few things that I thought I could work on, and I think really what I want to do is try to make some kind of attempt at connecting my 2D SVG stuff with this 3D modeling here. See if I can make some kind of interface on that. Something like that might be kind of cool. I was playing around with a few different libraries to see what kind of tooling I could use for that sort of thing. And, well, I've got some work to do, but it's a good start. So, let me think about the right way to start here. First of all, I'm gonna, sorry about that. I'm gonna clean up, close a few of these running things and get things kind of restarted a little bit, if that makes any sense. Just kind of declutter the workspace a little bit. This can disappear actually. I was messing around with, well, I can delete it actually because I don't need it right now. Oops, I did that wrong. There we go. I have to do a few things here. Let's go dev forge. Let's close this. This also should be closed. In fact, let me just delete that project. It was a good experiment, but I need to work on it a little bit more. I was messing around with Zach Oak's Dynadoc library as well as his Play CLJC library to see about using those tools to make a bit of an interactive web environment for making 2D and 3D stuff. There's a lot of exploration I have to do with that stuff yet before I'm confident in working with that stuff. But what I can do instead for now is think about different ways to work on various stuff related to spec and my own GitHub SVG project. Well, my own SVG project that happens to be on GitHub. Silly way to say it, but this here needs some improvement, so like tests and specs and stuff like that. So maybe that's a decent place to start. Let me first switch over to, this can go away. Oops, wrong thing. Yeah, here's what I wanted. Cut that, paste it here, and maybe clean this up just a smidge. And then actually, Let's have a look also at just thinking about okay. So we've got a bunch of stuff going on. Let's see about this. If I save this, Capilano, is that going to change this? I cannot remember. Let's look at the design file for a minute. Bolt lookup table. Oh yeah, that's right. I was working on stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I just need to figure out where there it is. This assembly thing is where I should call this instead. There we go. There we go. We got something going on here. Okay. So. Trying to collect my thoughts with how I'm building all this stuff. The design watcher's fine the way it is. This here is actually what I want to okay, here we go. Step hacks. We've got here FreeCAD based step export. There we go. So this here is the code that's worth copying. Yeah. Okay, here we go. And instead of this title, we have here this. This is a working setup that can export step files from scad-based.csg files. It uses my local fork of SVG-CLJ to generate .csg files and then run a Python script that converts CSG to step via the FreeCAD CLI. This is fine for POC, for proof of concept, but is a bit clunky and won't work on any web examples without running a server. Anyway, that's fine for now. Forge.export, that seems good. Source forge / export dot CLJ, right? Yeah. Okay. Step hacks, watcher proto. Seems pretty good. Let's double check that actually against this for a moment. This we can get rid of. Let's do this. Let's do it like this. Step, export. There we go. Watcher proto. Babashka stuff not working at the moment, but that's okay. Let's just make sure all this works. Actually, this whole thing. There we go. Define design watcher file, and then the paths F, there we go. Then this goes like this. Design watcher first. Command line arguments, Clojure, command line args. I forget how to get those. it is. Oh, okay. It's just that. That's nice and easy. Command line args. That's wrong. I need to do this. There we go. Let's actually make that true here as well. Design watcher F zip. There's F there. And then main runs design watcher. First command line args. Okay, that should be okay. This I'm gonna get rid of too for cleanliness. And oh, something's going wrong here. This is not, there we go. Never mind. I have to fix that here too, actually. This step export is not what I'm thinking about. That should be fine. This here has to be F. There we go. Let's check that that actually is going to work. Let's try. So here I should do CLJ-M capilano.watcher, but I have to watch the file. What's the file? I think it's, yeah. All right, let's see if that'll work. Oh, I guess it goes like this. Editing the wrong one. Let's see here. Good thing I'm messing around with this and actually trying it. Let's try that again. No implementation for character. Oh. What am I doing wrong here? Maybe it's just that even. Let's see. That looks like it worked. Okay. Let's just double check that's working. Yep. We have changes, and that's looking pretty good. Okay. Let's try, oops. Hey, whoa, there we go. Okay, we're good. Not that I'm going to be spending a ton of time doing this. What I'd like to try mess about with now is connecting the ideas of this design paradigm with what? Just got to think about, well, a lot of stuff. Okay, now let's pop open one more library just to keep things nice and confusing. This is me very loosely exploring and thinking through the stuff I have to do with my libraries. I've got basically two key libraries that I think are worth effort. SVG-CLJ will be helpful for rendering 2D drawings and things like that. And Forge is a data model I'm trying to build up for representing 3D data that I can build converters for between step files, this stuff, rendering to 3D with SVG, combining all of those things to make a CAD system. The complexity might be more than I can think of in one sitting, but it's a start. But to work for a moment on SVG-CLJ, what I'm interested in is seeing if I can actually come up with, the right way to build some specs for different functions of mine. Right, so maybe let's see what's a good spot to start. Starting to build a few tests, which is good, but a little clunky. But using that, I wonder, okay, let's pause things just for a minute here. Let's head to Play CLJC and just use that. Maybe, let's see if there's a basis here, an example that I can use to start doing some spec declarations. It might be useful, I don't know. Let's check out, let's try primitives 2D, see if there's an example that's useful. Well, that's not exactly what I was hoping for. That's okay. check the test directory. Maybe there isn't one. Maybe it's in here. Maybe let's check spec examples. I'm trying to remember how to do fdef function function stuff. Okay. Validating functions using property testing, generative testing. This is the thing I actually care about most anyway. At least I think it's what I care about most. I have a lot to learn still. That's always the thing. I feel out of my depth with a lot of this kind of stuff. Sometimes I worry that I don't know what I'm doing. Other times I know that I don't know what I'm doing and I'm not worried about it. But today I'm feeling a bit worried about things. But if you give me a second, I have to answer this message. Right, so what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? Right. Let's have a look at this here. let's see here. Right, so arg spec, return spec, and the function spec. All right, let's figure it out. You make a spec that validates the result value of the functions, return, finally a function. Right, so here is probably a good place to figure some of this out a little bit. So let's have a peek here. So we have spec alpha here, that's nice. Let's add spec into here, the main namespace. Let's do Clojure.spec.alpha as S. That should be good because I named string st, so I don't get a conflict there. Oops, that was wrong. Clojure.spec.test.alpha as stest. And yeah, we'll use pprint. Clojure.prettyprint as pp. Okay, that's a good start. Oh, I haven't started a REPL. Before I do that, I'm going to go to the washroom though. Then we'll get the ball rolling. All right, let's see what we can do. First, let's launch this bad boy and let's launch a REPL. Perfect. Run out of screen real estate here. Let's keep things crunched. Shrink the text here. Oof. All right, well, crunched is fine. It's just gonna be okay for now. Oh, we can move those around like this a little bit. This can go up like this. Effortless. So easy to follow and understand. Ah, well. All right, so okay, well, let's do this number sort example. Let's go here. Actually, let's make a new one. Specs. Oh, not what I meant to do. Let's do this. Okay. Right, so let's do num sort, and it's just calling on a collection, sort collection. This is just an example, so that should be fine. Let's run sfdef num sort. Okay. Args scat collection, s collection of number. Return is s collection of number. Makes sense. The function itself, s and okay, this I don't follow yet, but I'll figure it out. And return okay. Let's try that. Num sort. Okay. And now let's try run this pp slash pretty print. Oh, that's wrong. Pretty print s test slash check num sort. Huh. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. The arguments and the return are pretty straightforward. Let's see what scat is again. Well, let's see. Let's see if we could take some of that idea and put it into Let's try to, well, first of all, let's load file, source, SVG-CLJ, main.cljc. So we load all the data. So here, let's start with circle, because that one's really easy. Well, it's theoretically really easy. So let's see here. We start with all the shapes. Maybe that's a good place to start. Let's try this. So we got to do sfdef for circle. Okay. And here, the specs are args is just going to be, let's try this. But it's not so args, it's just a single argument. Hey Mike, how's it going? Oops. Hope you're doing well today. What is happening here? There we go. I'm trying to start putting in some specs for functions in my SVG library. You know, I've got to keep building in the right tests and specs and stuff to make the library more and more useful, so that others can actually start to use it. So I just trying to wrap my head around a little bit of the basics here. So I have a spec call here, and I'm trying to build for some simple functions at least some specs so that I can theoretically run some property-based testing on them. Once I wrap my head around how these actually work, I really think it'll be easier and easier to build them, and then I can run in the test namespace the definitions of all of those specs and things like that. Maybe even pull the specs into their own properties file or something like that. Doing well? Me? I'm doing well. Didn't get an email about going live for some reason. I gotta check on that. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, I'll have to, I'm gonna write a note on my piece of paper for a second. Here. Twitch. Because you've said that before at least once, so I'll have to look into that. I don't know. I have no real theory as to why that would be happening, but that's okay. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well today. I'll state up front. I've got a little bit of stress and anxiety keeping me from being as happy as I'd like to be today. Temporary, as it always is, but I'm getting it's over halfway through the month, and I don't feel totally prepared for the fact that I'm moving next month. So that's just on my mind a lot. It's nothing to worry about. It's just you know, eating away at the little corner of my mind. But I'm still trying to be productive with my code base here and trying to have some fun while I do it too. So I think I can pull that off. It is nice. So, you know, to talk a little bit of positives for a minute, I managed to get another YouTube video up on Friday, which I had mentioned already, and that's really exciting. I like doing that. And every time I come on the stream, well, every couple of days I come on the stream, there's a few more people who have followed, and often I can't catch them live and say thanks, but I'm extremely grateful that there are people who still decide to follow and tune in or participate in one way or another. So that's pretty good. Haven't had a chance to watch yet. You're going to check it out tonight. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. You know, obviously, I say it every time. No pressure. Like, I mention the YouTube videos because they're on my mind and I'm excited by them. If it's not your cup of tea, like, that's totally fine, eh? So, no pressure to watch them. If you're interested, you totally go ahead. And share them out and all that kind of stuff. But that's always voluntary, right? I don't require or expect that of anyone. Let's see here. Right, so some specs. Let's see what I can do. I don't understand this. You know, I think I might. I never find. Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like the spec examples and definitions are never, like, it's never. Maybe it's just me, but it's not totally clear, like, the optimal way to use specs and stuff like that. I struggle with that. Maybe it's worth struggling, writing some notes, and making a video and or a blog post about it. That might be a good idea. Okay, simple input output. This is where I should start, maybe. Okay. S/cat, the function's argument names and the keywords used to describe them in the spec do not have to match. It's the position that's important. Okay. So let's see here. Let's try to figure that out. So S/cat, the only argument is R. So let's do let's leave it R just for now. Well, actually, no, let's just to test that it actually does work with different, or so I understand that. Let's leave it that way. And what's the predicate? It doesn't have to be an int. It has to be number. What all passes number? Let's do map number over 1, 2, 3.4, 4 over 5, 4.5, I meant 4 over 5. What other types of numbers are there? Well, those are good enough for now. Those are all numbers. I didn't test any negatives, but I'm going to comfortably assume that that'll work too. Yeah. All right. I'm not going to worry about complex numbers or anything weird like that because I'm not dealing in complex numbers at the moment anyway. That's a different library. All right, so that's the predicate I'm going to check the input argument with. Function argument lists can be spec'd as a sequence. Okay. Okay, so s/cat is more convention than strictly necessary. You can do it as a tuple. I don't know what alt is. Okay, anyway, that's fine. All right, so leaving that as just enough, let's do stest/instrument. Okay. And now how to run that test. Let's check that again. Oh, I put it in earlier. This won't really do anything, I guess, but let's see what happens. Okay. I mean, it didn't actually run the program, but that's fine. Or run the function, but that's okay. Let's finish editing that spec. Args, let's do the return. The return of circle. It's not a collection of things. It's... Ooh, boy, how do I do this? Okay, so this is kind of beyond just implementing actual specs. I was kind of wondering how to properly run, like at what point you should actually run these things. I don't want the user of the library to have to wait for specs to run when they're just normally using the library. So it makes sense to put it into a dev right here. Test. Excuse me, sorry about that. Makes sense to put it into its own test namespace, which is what I thought would be necessary anyway, so that's good. Instrument only checks inputs. Oh, you can pre-check. That's cool. Well, let's actually try that for a second. Let's see what this looks like. If I do here, pre, let's just, number. What? Oh, R. There we go. So, right, if I run circle with 4, 4.2, 4.A, invalid number. That's cool. Okay, so this is actually probably pretty good idea to start doing this a little more thoroughly, right? Huh, okay, so that seems like a nice way to put in some basic error handling and stuff for the more complicated functions that are part of this library. I just have to be smart about building up proper specs and things. Although, let me think about well, I don't know. Post. Wait a second. Why does this have to be in a... I wonder if this will work. Might not. Let's check post for a moment with this. No. Okay. If I get rid of this for a moment. Seems like the assert keyword in C++. Yeah, a little bit. So there's pre and post checks. There's also, you can actually, there's a thing actually called spec/assert as well, which you can use inside a function body, and check asserts is off by default. So pre and post check are a little bit different than an assert, I guess, but I'm not specifically sure what the intended, like why, what are they for specifically? I'm not sure, but this at least, if I can get pre and post working alongside some good functional definition or function specs, that feels like the right step forward in actually good testing for this library, something I could be proud of a little bit more. I could start to get rid of those weird problems I was having where if you pass in 3D points in a 2D context, things go weird, and this seems like the right set of steps to take. I just have to be smart enough to figure out how to do it properly. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. So sorry if things are a little slow, a little confusing. It's because I don't totally get it yet. That's the simple truth. I'm not a genius, so it takes a bit to figure some of this stuff out, you know? No, this is not what I want. Let's see what this says, at least. Okay, so it looks like pre/post are not technically related to Clojure spec. You can use specs inside them, but you don't have to. Well, let's keep figuring this out. I don't know why you need to wrap it in a vector. I'm not sure if you actually do, but let's try this post again. Oops. Element. Let's see. Hey, okay, there we go. That worked for some reason. Right, so I actually kind of, this feels actually completely unhelpful to do here. It's a list of functions instead of a single one. Yeah, I guess so. Like, I suppose you could, it kind of seems like maybe I could actually do this if I say thread no idea if this is smart or silly, but let's try that. That's not helpful. Okay, that seems to work. Let's purposely make it fail. Okay, so that's not what I thought. Would this make it fail? Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Clearly that's not okay, so I wonder if for all the elements which are purely, so every element here, right? Circle, ellipse, line, and all that stuff. There's never, like, as long as I've written the output correctly, there's no, like, the post condition seems unnecessary to check, right? Like, it seems more important to check that the user or the library has put in properly constrained arguments. Well, first of all, okay, let's sanity check this. Imagine a circle that I can only make even numbers. Argument must be an integer. Yeah, it also has to be an even. There we go. Okay, so it is using asserts built right in there. Okay, well, let's just leave it like that anyway for now. And oh, we should finish doing an fdef of circle here. So return let's also, I guess it would actually be cool to make def, oh boy, there we go. All right, let's use this to make, let's spec let's change this up a little bit, right? This feels like I could actually make a spec definition that I can then use as the element check, maybe? Right, so here, right, I can do I think that's fine. Well, let's check that then. So if we do svalid circle, what? Oh, bummer. Let's try again. Okay, that's a little strange. I don't know why you can't refer. So what I expected, right, was if I do SVG elements like this, it returns that set. What I expected was that the set would be evaluated in place here, and then this spec would be it would work right away. But I don't know why that's not the case, but okay. Using that, I should at least be able to change this now to this should just be element as well for a little bit of better readability there. So let's try that. Element circle 5. Oh, I forgot to reevaluate this circle to allow proper circle values. Right, okay, so that element thing seems to be working with a spec now. That's nice. Was I calling SVG elements as a function and maybe that was messing with it? Oh, was I? Did I have it in parens? You might be right. Let's try one more time here with let's try that. Huh. Did I have it in parens? I guess maybe I did and I just didn't realize it. Let's try. Or maybe I had a typo and I didn't realize it. Either way, that seems to be working. Didn't see before I copied over it. Yeah, and I don't remember. Oh well. It seems to be working for now. It's not a big deal. I will be right back. I have to check something. I won't be long. Like 2 minutes. All right. Looks like I got another 45 minutes, 50 minutes to get my spec act together here. And that should be okay. I think that's totally fine. Let's get the rest of this thing sort of figured out a little bit. So let's test post. Oh boy, that was not a word. There we go. Oops. Yeah, no, it really doesn't make sense to actually check the post condition on a function like this that just is emitting a data structure. I don't think. But we can actually improve this here by we can actually make this spec check all of this, not just a key, right? So let's try something like that. I just want to make sure I understand this. Don't think the post is too relevant for a simple function like that. Yeah, there's no way in which. Yeah, no, I think just the pre is perfectly sensible, because the arguments are exactly where a user could put something in and potentially put something incorrect in. But if the function is working, which is my job as a library developer, like, I would expect that the functions all work. I mean, maybe it's worth putting a really simple test spec suite where it just exercises all of them to check that I didn't typo anything, but even that seems overkill for such simple things. Where it'll probably become smart is with path elements. Might be worth checking the string a little bit, especially this kind of stuff. And transforms, centroid, bound, translate, rotate, and scale are probably worth instrumenting a little more thoroughly, because that's where stuff does go wrong, especially rotate. That's the hardest thing to deal with in this whole library. So I think that's reasonable. Okay. I would like to try see if this is a valid spec. This should be true. Oop, key must be integer. Okay, so that's not how that works. I wonder if I have to do it like this. Tuple of ints. Hey, there we go. Ah, that's cool. So using that tuple thing, I think I can do. I could change this to be sort of like this. sdef SVG element is going to be s/tuple. Mandatory, the first thing has to be a key from the SVG elements set, which, I mean, I can leave it out in a def or I could put it in there. It makes no difference. Let's get rid of that so we're not confusing ourselves here. And let's make it look like this. Okay. So it's a tuple, and it for sure has that. It can optionally contain a map, a properties map. So what is optional? Okay, I realize first of all, let's close that so it's not going to be an error. The way that I formed the logic of an element is props is optional, but this should technically read like this. This current element thing should read kind of like this, where I don't technically care what's passed in. And I could pass in, since this is destructured already, an element, like the idea is I could have always passed into element something that looks like this, and it could still be true, or something that's like this, where it has ops and, you know, content here. So I just used the simple structure of it to not worry about these contents, though it might be smart to make it matter. Props content like that. The problem is if I look at, say, translate, here I built in some basic logic that checks where did I put it? I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I don't remember. Maybe it's not a big deal. It might actually be totally... Okay, maybe I'm thinking too hard about this. I'm pretty sure... So if I go to shapes, every single shape emits a vector with a keyword and a map. And the only thing that's different than that is a group tag. No, even a group tag will have an empty map there with its own content, with the contents passed in, nested inside that. And image is, image is a little different, but actually no, it's not. Never mind. Again, it's a keyword followed by a map. Rectangle is that too. Polyline, polygon. I think text might actually be a little bit different. And it's different enough that I put it in its own spot. Yeah, so the only thing different here is text has the keyword and the map, and it has content further on. So with that, I actually don't need to make the map optional. I can actually do this. Shapes. This tuple is SVG elements. Map. That's not what I meant. Map is a, yeah. This is a set, it should fail, right? Okay, good. This is a map that's true, and this is a vector, it is false. Good. Okay, that's good. We need it to be specifically a map. Then the next option after that is nothing or content. So I could make it, well, let's see if that actually is enough. Let's see what happens if I run this. So I have circle. That should match the spec. So I should be able to run valid SVG. Oop. Okay, that's true. What if I do text? How about that? Okay, so this has a different form, right? It has an extra element that is the content. Let's see what happens here. Text, ASDF is fine. I kind of wonder if it'll fail. Okay, so it's false, which means I need some way to indicate that the last, like there can be those two things required. There can be nothing. It's possible that there's something. It's possible that there's several things. It's possible that there's one thing, or it's possible that there's, yeah, no, that's all the options. What does nillable do? Search that, nillable. Okay, so I should do, is S any? Is any a thing? Oh, maybe all I have to do is this. So this is a tuple that, so the first thing is the key is SVG elements, the next thing is a map, and then this thing is nillable any. Oh. I wonder if I could just do any. I wonder if that's, let's see if that actually makes sense. Okay, that's true. Ooh, what? Oh, okay. So nillable does still matter, I suppose. Let's try that. S/nillable. Still false. Ah, okay. Maybe I have to do this. Maybe I have to. Okay, so here. So it's either this thing or this thing. Okay. Oh. What? Slow day for my brain. Oh well. Need to name things, I guess. Oh, what happens, by the way, if I do circle, wrong number of args? Okay, that's normal. So this should now work. Okay, things seem to be working. Let's do text one more time. That's also true. Okay, that looks pretty promising. I'm pretty happy with that. I could even make this something like that, sdef SVG keys. Actually, I don't need to do sfdef. I could just leave it like that. And if I did that, it would be like this. I'll just leave it like this for now. That's okay, I think. That looks good. Okay. So SVG keys. No, SVG element keys. Just to be clear. There we go. This, okay, I think that's good. All right, so using this preconditioned stuff, actually, let's finish this. We've got args, we've got return is now just checking s valid. Wait a minute, can I just do... I'm not sure that that'll work. Let's see if that evals. It does. It's kind of cool. Let's do stest/check circle. Okay. Things seem to be working fine. And this one is now the one that I don't quite understand. So let's try to figure that out. Pre and post, I've kind of got that sorted. This, we'll close that for now. I don't think I need it. That's probably good to keep open. Here, I think is where I was reading some examples about this. Yeah. Wait, what's... Oh, this is not... I'm reading the wrong thing. I'm not going to worry about higher order functions today. I know I need to figure that stuff out, but that's okay to wait on that one. That'll be more useful for my 3D library than my SVG library anyway, so I'm not going to stress about it today. Oh, that's what alt is. Okay. I guess for all these ones, I don't need a function check either, really. Although I do want to understand how to do it. Okay, so what is this doing? So this is checking that the return value of the function is equal to the arguments Have I read through the official things, official Clojure docs for spec? Yeah, they're right here. Sorry, here. I'm using multiple different sources. I'm just bouncing around trying to get different examples. So I've read through spec before. This is more trying to jog the old memory bank a little bit. Really, I'm just trying to get some examples set up with enough understanding that I could make my own specs in my library and start working from there. And then anytime I encounter new errors, just keep searching and trying to figure out what to do. The official spec docs are right here, so I am peeking around those as well. Spec guide, getting started right there. There's also the API docs, but the getting started guide is a little more beginner friendly, I think. Yeah, the API docs are a little less friendly, but it's all there. I'm just slow with this today. I'm just trying to really understand it. That's why it doesn't look like much is happening. So sorry if things are a little boring. I'm just trying to follow some things, you know. Let's see. No, fine. Just trying to offer help where you can. Well, I appreciate it. That is sincere. If it doesn't sound sincere, don't. It's. I do sincerely appreciate help, of course. Oh boy, I'm just in a mood today, you know? I just can't. I'm just not as happy as I wanted to be today. It's a real bummer. But you know what? Some days it's like that, and it's okay. I'm still managing to learn a thing or two, slowly chugging through this sort of thing. It's definitely better than nothing. So basically, both this example and this other blog example here basically are just taking the input, running a function on the input, and checking that that function has the same result as the function itself. Does that make any sense? Oh, well, so this actually makes a bit of sense here. So this is not running a whole function. This is actually just doing well, it is a whole function, but so this function is just checking that the count of the cards that you passed into the function is equal to the count after. So I suppose I should just well, okay, let's make something. Let's make something that I think makes sense to put here, and if it does, we're good. If it doesn't, we're also good, because we don't really need the function fdef anyway. Never any fun when those days happen. No, not a huge fan. Not a big fan. But, you know, I kind of... days that aren't as fun, where you're kind of in a slump, they do make it really nice when you're still able to live and be okay, and then get out of that slump like that. It makes that upward trend feel really quite nice. So it's almost like it's almost like the contrast is actually what makes what gives life that variety, to be needlessly philosophical about it. So I'll just destructure the circle. I'll just say I want to just check that the result of get in no, let's think about this. Let's try to run it like this. The return value of the whole result, run that through get in, right? Oop. Right, if I get in 1R, yes. Let's see if this works. Oh, I see. I still I have to destructure the thing again because it's passing in the same structure. Right, so I can't, instead of getting the return, this time I want to get the args. Then I want to get, since I defined it as radius here, I'm going to assume that this is radius like this. Let's see if that's correct now. So if I run, oh, wrong, I did it wrong. That's fun. Specification-based check failed. Yeah, thank you. Cool, okay. So maybe this is the part that's totally wrong. I don't understand. Oops. Let's get rid of this as an area of confusion. Let's go like that. I don't think this will work, but it's worth trying. Different. No, not different. Same. Okay. If instead of this, huh. I really thought this would work. Let's dumb it down. Let's hard code the value 5 in there, and then we'll run this. Oh no, that's not gonna work. No, that's no, that's not gonna work. I don't think that'll work, but whoops. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to try with this because at the very least I can start to do other stuff. Okay. Right, so if we exercise this now, or check it, pass true for 1,000 tests, that works. Okay, so using that basic approach, I can instrument the rest of this pretty easily. So I can do that with pre. That should work, right? Three args. Oh, right. Sweet. That works. So pre is just a list of asserts that you can run on all the args or any of the args. It's really straightforward. I like that a lot, actually. Line is interesting, but I'll get to that in a second. Let's do sdef fdef ellipse. And then I can, this should work directly, right? Let's try that. stest check ellipse. Okay, that's promising. All right, now line pre let's define a spec called point, and it's going to be tuple point x s valid point x. Okay, let's see if this makes any sense. Oh, also, I suppose I should start kind of bunching these things up a little bit more tidily. Elements structure. Here, split. This is circle stuff. I'm not sure if this is like needlessly compact or not compact, I mean sliced up. But my gut's telling me to do this at least for now. Might regret it later, but hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I mean, it's just text manipulation, so it's really not that big a deal anyway. Okay, so here with line, I've defined this spec called point, and this point here, let's check this with this. Keep forgetting to put that. It's not a point anymore. Cool. Okay. This would also not be a point. I wonder if I should call it point 2D. Like this. Just so that it's clear. Because it's strange. No. Leave it as point. No. Point 2D is a little bit better. Just a little bit smarter. There we go. So I want to do point 2D, AX, AY, and point 2D, BX, BY. That should work. Ooh, invalid token. Yes, of course. There we go. And a spec, function spec here. Ooh. Line. There we go. Time are we at here? Ooh, 4:03. I gotta go in about 10 minutes. So I won't be too long. What's really nice is, at the very least, for this little chunk here, I've got an actual strategy that I can. I mean, it's kind of extremely simple, but it's a really good jumping off point here, and this establishes a good enough thinking pattern that I'll be able to really improve it really have a good approach for the path specs, which is really where it'll be important, I think. As well, it'll be necessary for transforms. That'll be a really good spot to have all of that. And then I can start to pull it out into proper namespaces, and it's going to look more and more like a real library, which is extremely exciting to me. I'm happy with that. I'm really proud of the work of this library. I mean, it's nowhere near done, but I'm actually, putting more and more good practices into it, and it's going to be a library that's useful to people, and I'm happy with that. All right, so enough patting myself on the back. Let's finish up this line def here with args scat. Ooh, how would this one work? Oh, of course, I can just do point A, like that. No, I could just leave it at A. That'll be fine. A has to pass the 0.2D. B has to pass 0.2D. And then return SVG element. All right. stest slash check line. Ooh, okay, I did something wrong there. I'll get back to that. You should be proud of it, even if nobody were to ever use it. Sounds like that won't be the case. Making something by oneself and learning how to do it in the process is an accomplishment. Yeah, thanks for the encouragement. That's really nice. I do honestly think so. I mean, on some level, I wouldn't really be pushing so hard to work on this if I didn't think there was some inherent worth to doing so. And I mean, part of why I like streaming it is to kind of show and share that thought process in general, for what it's worth. I mean, not everyone's going to find that valuable, but I really do think it's valuable, and it makes me happy and calm to do something like this in general. And I do genuinely think that there's value in this library beyond my own needs, but you're totally right. Even if it never comes to that, I'm getting a lot of value out of it. So it is keep that thought in the back of my head, even on a day like this where I'm a little less thrilled about things. It's still work that has meaning to me, and I find that reassuring. And for what it's worth, it's really cool that people tune in and comment and watch me work on stuff like this too, right? So I win in a few different ways, and win in a loose sort of definition, right? I'm just happy with things. Even when I'm not happy, I'm happy. That's a pretty good life to lead, I think. So I didn't read the error before I cleared it. Classic mistake. What have I done? Let's rewrite this a little bit here as 0.2D. I think this might fix it, although I'm not certain. Let's see. Hey, yeah, okay. That's a little weird. I wonder if... Oh, I just wrote it wrong. That's why. Let me just check my understanding here for a second. 0.2D. Let's see if that'll work. Oops. Should I just overwrite it? I did. No, I didn't. Okay, there's the line. Let's test it. Oh, okay, so I'm wrong. All right, clearly I need to understand things a little bit more clearly, but at least I know that this works. 0.2D, like that. Just double check that. Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now points, or polygon, is kind of interesting. Let's Ooh, how do I do this? How does collection of work? Pred and options. Will this work? I don't think I'm not sure it will. collection of 0.2D points. Maybe it will. Oop. Nope. Can't take value of a macro. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, let's try. Can you reduce with a predicate? I have no idea if this is a sensible thing at all. What? Oh, okay. No, I can't. I have to filter. Right. So what I could do for pre is check that the length of filter is equal to the length of, that seems clunky. There's got to be a better way for this, but let's put it in because it's the last thing I have to do. Then I have to get going very soon. So let's do that, and then I can leave a note for myself to edit that later on. So let's check that works. So we got to do equal count points is equal to, let's write it like this, count of filter with pred 0.2D, the points. So if the counts are equal, that means no points were filtered out. So it should be a valid list of points. Otherwise, it won't work. Right? So polygon points should work with this list. 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. But it should fail with this. Huh. I was incorrect. Okay, well, there's clearly some work to do. Well, okay, I don't have time to sort that one out. I have to go do my workout. So thanks for tuning in. I will be back streaming tomorrow. And I hope you have a good evening. Anyone who's watching, thanks for tuning in, as always. I'm happy with today's progress, despite it being a little slow and seemingly unimportant. This is the seed of an important way to properly spec my whole library and make it a little more reliable as I keep making changes. So happy with that. Yeah, Mike, you take it easy too, and you also enjoy your evening. Maybe I'll see you around tomorrow. Not sure if you'll be in, but either way, have a good one. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.